This week on the Road with Mickey, it's the final four of our March Madness tournament.
We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go. We're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And special guest, as always, he is the most specialist of guests. Hello, Grogu.
Hello.
So cute.
And we are on the road with Mickey. This is episode 262 for April 21st, 2025. And our featured topic this week is the conclusion, the finals, the final four. What is the absolute best favorite attraction according to On the Road with Mickey listeners? That is what we are going to find out.
Yay.
Oh my goodness, it's all coming to a head.
Yeah.
This has been 4 weeks in the making.
4 weeks, and this is the 5th week for this episode. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
This
So-
is
No
exciting.
pressure.
No, and no pressure at all, because you know what? We didn't play the games. Well, Brenda and I did,
I did not.
but all we're doing is we are the play-by-play color commentary, studio announce team that announces who won what games. So and all the pressure is on the listeners. Just, I'm not sure if they realized it, but it's really, you know what? Whoever wins, whoever loses, it's not our fault. It's their fault. There you go.
Well, you know what? Just want to say this. No matter which ride wins, they're all very, very good rides
Oh my
because
gosh.
they're all at Disney.
That's the truth.
That is absolute mic drop moment. Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
But-
before we get into that,
We have some cheddar from the big cheese, don't we, Sophie?
yes, we do. I'm sorry I keep on stealing your thunder.
You're not stealing it. We're tag teaming our intro. And so Brenda, who never steals thunder, is starting us off. So Brenda, thunder away.
Okay. Well, the It's a Small World attraction at Disneyland has been under refurbishment since the holidays concluded. Goodness gracious. They're adding a new scene from Coco to the attraction. Yes. The ride is scheduled to finally reopen on May 9th, just in time for Mother's Day weekend.
That's right.
Ooh.
That's right. Wow. I haven't seen that attraction live in a long time. So
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll get back over there, be able
That's
to enjoy it.
right. Yeah.
Brenda's got a trip over there, I
You
think.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
October.
Yeah.
October.
Well, just a little quick Disney Skyliner news. This is way down the road, so it's not a big issue. But Skyliner will be going through a refurbishment from January 25th through the 31st of next year. So this is 2026. This is like 9 months, 8 months down the road.
Mhm.
And it will be closed during those 6 days. And as always, when the Skyliner isn't running, Disney will provide bus transportation to Epcot and Hollywood Studios from the affected resorts, which is Pop, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Riviera Resort. Any others?
I mean, it can affect the Epcot
Pop,
resort,
Caribbean Beach. Yeah.
but not directly.
Oh, yeah.
Art of
yeah.
Animation, Pop, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Riviera, thinking.
Yeah, if you were at a boardwalk resort and wanted to ride the Skyliner, it would affect them.
Yeah.
But
But that's not their primary transportation to Hollywood Studios.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So that is coming down the pike. And if you remember, they did not close this year for refurbishment. So so it looks like next year they'll be back doing that at least every other year. So which makes sense. You want to keep it safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, safety is key everywhere at Disney, but especially on the Skyliners. Well, good thing we won't be there during the January 25th through 31st because we have something else planned for January of 2026. Back to On the Seas with Mickey, Cheddar. I just wanted to say that I am so excited about the Disney Treasure Cruise in January. Take a look at these incredible photos of the Grand Hall of the ship, and my dad is going to share them.
Yes, I am. Hold on one second.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Moment, please. Moment, please.
One moment, please. I'm really excited about this.
All right.
Me too. God, that ship has so much going for it.
Oh my goodness.
That is
I love it.
Aladdin and Jasmine, of course, part of the main Grand Hall.
Yes.
Is
And
it
then
made of bronze?
I think
Looks
so.
like
I think
it.
so. Riding the magic carpet.
And then here is the full effect. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Looks so cool.
So what I've noticed, and this is completely an outsider's perspective on this because I've never been on any of the cruise ships, they each seem to have a subtle theming to them. I know that the
Mhm.
Disney Wish is kind of Cinderella themed.
Definitely.
Seems to me like the Disney Treasure is more Aladdin themed.
Yep, which makes sense because of the whole
It's
treasure
adventure
aspect.
themed, yeah.
Yeah. And that is just so cool to me. So I think the Disney Treasure might be my favorite of the fleet, just from what I'm sort of imagining in my head with the predictions and whatnot. Because I really like Aladdin. I like how exotic and foreign it is compared to my Western civilization. So
I
I
like
like it.
the colors are gorgeous. All the
They
Uh-huh.
are.
colors, the deep blues, and looks so pretty.
It
Yeah.
does.
So that is our look at the Disney Treasure for this time. And thank you, Sophie, for talking about it. And that is our cheddar from the big cheese. So now, just a reminder, you can connect with us on our Facebook page and our Facebook group. And I want to say hello to our Facebook group because there are like 378 members in our Facebook group.
Yay!
Wow.
So invite your friends. Tell them
We love our
they
Facebook
can
group.
get to it, and they can get to it at facebookgroup.ontheroadwithmickey.com, or they can just go into their Facebook and they can search for On the Road with Mickey group, or even the page. They're two separate things. You can like them both, join one and like the other. Our YouTube channel. Hello to everyone on YouTube world.
Hello.
Hello.
And of course, we have our Instagram channel, On the Road with Mickey. And we have our email address is info@ontheroadwithmickey.com. And you can capture all of this at our website, which is also ontheroadwithmickey.com. So it is time, ladies. It is time for the Final Four of Walt Disney World. March Madness. You know, we have been looking at, we started with Magic Kingdom. We went to Epcot. We went to Hollywood Studios. We went to Animal Kingdom. We picked a winner from each one of those. And the winners were Haunted Mansion, Guardians of the Galaxy, Rise of the Resistance, and Avatar Flight of Passage.
As they should be.
Yes.
Oh.
Awesome attractions, all of them. And
Yes.
they are going up head to head, boom, 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 like that, to see who's going to pull it out
Just
and
like that.
who is going to be the top dog, the number one ride at Disney, at Walt Disney World anyway. I have a friend on Facebook who said she was going to do the similar concept for Disneyland. And I think
Ooh.
that would be really cool to hear about
Yeah.
too.
That
sure.
would be really, really cool. And Disneyland only has the 2 parks
Yeah.
to it. So that wouldn't be the Final Four. It would just be the finals.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But
Holy moly. Well,
But anyway, so our matchups, you may remember from last week, the matchups were Guardians of the Galaxy, #1 seed against #5 seed Haunted Mansion, and then two #1s. #1 Rise of the Resistance over at Hollywood Studios against #1 Avatar Flight of Passage. And we thought, in order to make this perhaps a little bit more interesting or boring, I guess it depends on your point of view, we thought we would talk a little bit about it. So, Brenda, you're going to give us your favorite points that you like about Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's not to like about Guardians of the Galaxy is the question.
Okay.
I don't know. If you get
Oh,
motion sickness
my
or you may
God.
be pregnant, that might be something
Yeah,
you
you
don't
should
like about
probably
it.
not ride if you get motion sickness, because this is the most dramatically fabulous ride at Disney, and it's super cool. And it maintains its status as the longest indoor roller coaster in the world. It's not one of those one and done roller coasters like you might find at Disney. It is a long lasting, fabulous roller coaster ride. And if you're a Marvel fan like me, it's the best. So it's got obviously Guardians of the Galaxy in there. And Terry Crews is in there and Glenn Close. Made it really cool. But as far as the ride, I'm going to read something about it. One of the most innovative aspects of Cosmic Rewind is that it's Disney's first Omnicoaster. This ride system allows the vehicles to rotate 360 degrees, ensuring that guests are always facing the action. The coaster also features a reverse launch, a first for Disney attractions, which sends riders hurling backward into space as they embark on their mission to save the galaxy. Oh, and it's got 7 fabulous songs, and you never know which one you're going to get. Here they are: September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Disco Inferno by the Tramps, Conga by Gloria Estefan. I've never gotten that one yet. Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, I Ran So Far Away, A Flock of Seagulls, and One Way or Another, Blondie. The only one I haven't gotten is Conga.
Wow.
And then they
And that's the
sometimes
one-
change the music for Christmas, and I've gotten a Christmas tunes too.
I think I've ridden Guardians at least twice, I believe. It was at least 2 times, because I know those 2 times I got Conga.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought I had ridden it once more, but I'm not quite sure. But the 2 times I remember getting Conga, so I have one for me and one for you, Aunt Brenda. How about
Yay!
that?
We've covered it all. Yay!
Yep.
And in my opinion, in my own personal opinion, Guardians is the best ride at Disney. So
Yeah.
we shall see what other people thought.
Yeah. Now, Sophie is going to talk about
The
the
Haunted
Haunted
Mansion.
Mansion. And then after that, Grogu is going to speak through Sophie and talk about Avatar Flight of Passage.
Okay. All right. So, unlike Aunt Brenda, I'm not the best when it comes to research. I know what I know about the rides just because I'm interested in them, but I did do some research when it comes to the Haunted Mansion, so that's the one we're going to start with first. Everyone who knows me knows that I love the Haunted Mansion. It was absolutely terrifying to me when I was little because I could not get past the pre-show in the line queue with the stretching room. But once I was brave enough to get past that point, I think the cast members even let me go in through the back way so I didn't have to face the pre-show. It was such a cool ride. And there is a lot of history that goes into it, but I actually figured out how the Imagineers were able to make the ghosts and some of the effects that you see in the ride. And spoiler alert, they are not real. I'm sorry to tell you.
Dawn. I thought
Here,
that
I
was
thought
sorry
they
to-
were 57 years, and I thought they were real.
I'm sorry to spoil the magic for those of you who are listening. Most of the ghosts that you see in the Haunted Mansion are made using the Pepper's Ghost illusion. And what that is it's animatronics, completely opaque, not transparent animatronics, but they are hidden out of the viewer's line of sight. And then they have bright lights which are projected onto them, and it causes the image of the ghost to reflect. And what they will reflect onto is a piece of glass. And that glass, you can still see through it, but because of the light projections that are bouncing off the animatronics and onto that surface, it makes them seem transparent. And fun fact, a lot of the ghost animatronics that were made for these rides are actually recycled from other attractions, because Disney will use different face models to make characters because it's less expensive that way.
Mm-hmm.
You can spot some of the animatronics from the Hall of Presidents. You can spot them from Pirates of the Caribbean. Obviously, they'll have different costumes, but their faces will be the same. I think in the Disneyland version of Haunted Mansion, you could even spot like Abraham Lincoln or something to that effect if you looked very closely, but you wouldn't be able to. The staring busts as well. There are marble busts of who are called ghost riders in the library, and they will follow you as your doom buggy is moving through the ride. How they do that, those busts actually do not move at all, but they are inverted. So instead of it being like a shape like one's head, what you do is you put the face mold into some silicone or whatnot, and it creates an inverted shape of that. And then they make the bust around that inverted shape so that when you're moving around it, it looks like it's always facing you. It's a really cool illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all I have about the illusions, really. There are much more that they use, but I don't really know about those ones. Those two are the ones that I know off the top of my head.
What's really neat to me about Haunted Mansion is you got the scary part at the beginning, you
Mhm.
got the doom buggies, you got the cast members who are so much
Oh,
in
yeah.
character when it comes to this attraction. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And you got the music and you got the illusions, like Sophie was saying. It's just a phenomenal. That's what made it one of the final four, because it's got the whole package, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then when the hijacking ghosts hijack your doom buggy and the whole ride
Right.
stops.
And they show like your head being replaced. It's so cool.
It is really, really funny. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I love that ride so much.
Yep.
So much. And of course, there's also, me being a history nerd, there is also the um Easter eggs, I suppose you should call them, that you can see sprinkled throughout the line cues. Leota Toombs is the voice actress of Madame Leota. That is her real name, was her real name. You have so many cast members that are honored with cameos in the line queue. They will have like plays on their names on the gravestones and in the crypts, and
Mhm.
it's fascinating to
Yeah.
me. I love it so much. Haunted Mansion really is what I would call a cult classic.
Yeah.
A cult classic,
You called that
pun
right.
intended.
Yes. And there's hidden Mickeys in there.
There are, and I can tell you where two of them are.
Should we?
Should
Should we
we?
let our listeners tell us where they are in the
Yeah,
comments?
I like all this listener interaction, so I will let you guys tell me where they are, even though I know where they are.
Yep.
All right.
Well
All right.
then,
You want to talk about Flight of Passage?
I want you to talk about Rise first while I figure out more stuff to say.
Okay. Well, I will talk about Rise of the Resistance over at Hollywood Studios. Oh my gosh. Talk about a development project, building an entire land and then making it like you're on the planet Batu and just everything that goes with it. And so the thing that I like most about Rise of the Resistance is the whole atmosphere of being in a production. That we talked about that a while back about how it just feels like you're in the production of a show, of a movie or a stage show or something.
Yeah.
The whole thing where you've got stormtroopers, you've got the First Order, and how you're a spy and you're trying to take over and make sure that you can, the resistance can win. And you got Ray talking to you, and you've got the whole mission. It's just phenomenal. And what's really neat about that area of Disney is that just like at the cast members at Haunted Mansion, excuse me, I got a cough. Just like that, you have the cast members at Star Wars Land that get into it. And, we were in line. It's as simple as being in a line, and we're walking and we're about to turn. And I happened to have, it was pure coincidence, I happened to have my Mandalorian t-shirt. And the Mandalorian t-shirt says, "This is the way." And as we got close to this cast member, he looked at us and said, "This is the way." And we turned and went because that was the way we were
That is
supposed
hilarious.
to go. And it's just the funny little details,
Yeah.
And
Witted.
but the attraction itself, holy cow, you've got this huge thing that you're doing, and then you've got to escape and you've got to get away. And oh my gosh, it's just words don't
So involved.
words don't even come close for me when it comes to that attraction. So it was, in my opinion, very well deserved to be a number one seed and to win for Hollywood Studios. And I like a lot of the attractions at Hollywood Studios, but this one does stand out in my opinion.
It is definitely the most technologically advanced in moving parts that can go down, which is why it tends to go down a lot. There's so much
Yeah.
going on in there.
There really is.
Yeah.
But it is the best, to me, it's the best, like out of everything, it's the best one for show. Like combining all of Walt's elements. It's got the most show.
Exactly, because it's kind of like when Magic Kingdom first opened, and the whole premise was you walk underneath the train and you walk through the tunnel and you come out, and it's like you are walking onto the stage that is the Magic Kingdom. You have left Florida, you have entered into the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And so it's the same sort of thing. You have left Hollywood Studios,
Yeah.
you are in Star Wars, and now you are in the Resistance. You are a member of the Resistance.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So yeah, that does lend itself very well to what Walt envisioned for his people. So the Imagineers who did that attraction, kudos to them.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Because they truly deserve all the accolades they get for the attractions that they create. All right, Sophie.
All right, back to me. Sorry, I had to refresh my memory of Flight of Passage, because as much as I love Flight of Passage, it has been years since I've ridden it, which is sad, and I aim to correct that this June.
Good
Good
Yeah.
plan.
So Flight of Passage, how do I start? During a quick memory refresher, I've come to the conclusion of two things. Flight of Passage is a lot like Soarin', but it's also a lot like Tron. And I like Tron because of the special bike-like seats that the roller coaster offers. That's what I like most about Tron. And I've realized, looking at pictures of Flight of Passage and its ride seating, it is a lot like Tron in that way,
You're
only
right.
it does it better. And let me explain why. In Flight of Passage, you are stepping into the world of Pandora, much like you step into the world of Batuu in Galaxy's Edge with Rise of the Resistance. You are being immersed in that storyline to the best of your ability, because obviously we can't all jump into special pods and then wake up outside the pods as big, tall, blue things. So we try to emulate that as best we can. And what the ride does is it immerses you in that narrative using a pre-show. And the pre-show will take you into a link chamber with like a dozen other people. It will link you to avatars, quote unquote, and then you will step out of that link chamber. You'll go into the room where the ride takes place, and then you will get on these seats, and you want to close your eyes. That's the biggest thing I can recommend to you. You want to close your eyes because there's a lot of flashing lights to start. But when you open your eyes again, you will be an avatar. You will be sitting on the back of a banshee, and banshees are really, really cool creatures. If you haven't watched Avatar, you need to go watch Avatar because it's amazing. And there are 2 movies. And banshees can fly, and you're sitting on the back of one. So like Soarin', where you're going around the world, you are now flying through the world of Pandora, which is where Avatar takes place, and you are seeing all these beautiful, breathtaking views, and you can feel, because of the way that the ride is set up, you can feel the banshee breathing beneath you while you're riding on its back.
Mhm.
And you don't move much at all, but the ride mechanics will sway you from side to side, and it's the film that's doing the rest of the work. And the film is absolutely gorgeous. I think I found out which people Disney partnered with in order to make the film. I don't remember what their name is, but from what I understand, the film is completely original. It's something that only Disney has access to. They're not going to release it anywhere online because it is purely for that ride alone. And if you try to experience it outside of the ride, it would not be the same.
It's
It would
not
For
not be the
sure.
same
Yeah.
at all.
For sure.
Which is one reason why I am having such trouble with Flight of Passage, because it's been so long since I've ridden it, but it's a wonderful ride.
Oh, that was a great explanation of it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
It
perfect.
was. It
Yeah,
was. And
perfect.
so basically it just it's the emotion that it brings and
Yeah.
the feelings of being in that immersive world and that you have
Beautiful,
been
immersive.
transformed. Yeah.
it does. I think the best way to describe it is taking the best parts of Tron, Soarin', and Rise of the Resistance and adding them all together. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to do that, which is interesting because Tron came out after Flight of Passage. It came out way after Flight of Passage. And yet somehow this older ride manages to do it better. And maybe that's why Tron did not win the Magic Kingdom.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. We
Well,
always say it's the closest thing to heaven in our minds.
It
When you're
is.
on it, what you see is what I have,
It
like, in
is.
my life envisioned heaven to be like. I'm sure that's what the creators intended.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. And it really is. That would be what I would describe it as too, as some sort of vision of heaven in some way.
Beautiful. So
Maybe
beautiful.
without the scary animals that are in it, because
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
are
those won't be
fictitious
there. Hopefully. Yeah,
creatures.
hopefully won't be there. But the music also lends so much to that, doesn't it?
It
The
does.
sound effects when you're in it. I don't want to like blow it, but it adds so much.
No,
The music
no, you're
adds so
absolutely
much to that.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, great descriptions, everyone. It is now time to get on to the results.
And before we begin, I told everyone last week that I had a prediction, and I think it's time I shared that.
Ooh,
Okay.
My prediction, the one that I kept secret for a week, was, well, you start with Guardians versus the Haunted Mansion, and then you have Rise of the Resistance against Flight of Passage. I predicted, as much as I hate to say it, that Guardians was going to absolutely massacre the Haunted Mansion, blow it completely out of the water. And I also predicted that Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, because it was newer than Flight of Passage, that people might not vote for it as much as Flight of Passage. I thought Flight of Passage was going to win against Rise. And then I predicted that it was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy and Flight of Passage, and Guardians was once again going to knock Flight of Passage right out of the water.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
yeah.
All right. So the results: Guardians of the Galaxy versus Haunted Mansion. Guardians did win 21-11 for Haunted Mansion.
Awesome.
So not as big a
Almost
blowout,
double.
but almost 2-1. But still, Haunted Mansion got a lot more votes than I thought it would.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it, but I still count that as 1 point for me because I
Of
got that
course.
one right.
Yep. And the second result, Sophie wins again because this one was a much bigger blowout. Avatar Flight of Passage taking down Star Wars Rise of the Resistance by a score of 20-7. So
Wow.
of the final four, Rise of the Resistance got the fewest votes of the final four.
Wow, that's a shocker.
To me, it is too.
What,
And
you
that,
thought Haunted Mansion was going to be just a guppy in
yeah,
a tank full of sharks?
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Kind of.
Either way, I'm still 2 points for Sophie.
Yep.
Yep.
And then, so that takes us to Guardians of the Galaxy against Avatar Flight of Passage. And the winner of the first annual, is this annual? I'm going to say annual.
Cool.
March Madness of Walt Disney World for On the Road with Mickey. The winner is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
I told you.
Score, and it was a kind of a trouncer by a score of 17-5.
Such a great ride. Oh my god.
Holy moly. I've noticed that the closer you get to the finals, the less votes there are.
Yeah, because it's only a couple attractions that are being voted on. But anyway, so Brenda accepting the trophy for Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you have any words for the audience?
I mean, you can't stop rock and roll.
There you go. The understatement of the year. You can't stop rock and roll.
Oh,
That's what Star Wars says right before it takes off backwards.
I thought they said, I think we just jumped back and then it takes off backwards.
Well, that's true. That's the very last thing, but yeah.
Well, congratulations to Epcot for having the most popular attraction in all of Walt Disney World. Congratulations to Animal Kingdom for having the second most popular attraction at Walt Disney World. That just blows my mind. So I never thought Avatar would beat Rise of the Resistance.
That's
but
awesome.
Anyway,
You know what?
And
I
the
thought it would.
Imagineers knew what they were doing too, because I can tell you, when I first started working for Pixie almost 14 years ago, anybody who called me to book with little kids would always say, "Oh, we're just going to do the 3. We're not going to go to Epcot because that's an adult park." And they brought in Guardians, and they made it where you could only meet Elsa and Anna, and the only Frozen ride is at Epcot. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they
Oh,
pulled it off.
certainly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Certainly. And then they put in Remy, and they also kind of made like Soren and obviously the Seas with Nemo and Friends. They made that more fun and kid friendly.
Yep, they really they have it.
They knew what they were
They have
doing.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
if for people with little kids it became sort of a half-day park, okay, that's still more people going to Epcot and buying stuff for lunch.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that, my friends, that wraps up the March Madness of Walt Disney World.
Yay.
So our number one champion, our winner, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And congratulations to everyone who worked on that attraction. And it is a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, because when you think about it, when you say most popular ride at Walt Disney World, does really anything else come to mind except Cosmic Rewind?
Oh, I think of a lot of things.
I think Slinky is extremely popular. I don't know how it didn't make it into, but it's very popular for families, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
next year, who knows? When we do this next
That's
year.
right. Because when's Monsters Inc. going to open? Because I can't wait for that thing.
Oh, you're right.
my gosh.
Monsters Inc. It's a suspension type of ride.
Yeah.
I don't know what
how
they're
I'm going to
calling
make it, but I'm
it.
going to make it.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh.
that wraps up our feature topic, and it is now time for Sophie and This Day in Disney History. So take it
Well,
away.
you know what? Considering we're talking about a whole bunch of very popular rides, I think this Disney history is very, very appropriate. The year is 1965, what could be considered part of the Golden Age. April 21st, the World's Fair in New York City opens for the second and final season. The fair includes Disney-created attractions for Ford, General Electric, Pepsi-Cola, and the state of Illinois. I'm going to give you a guess as to which rides those were.
So the state of Illinois was Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah. And Pepsi-Cola, actually, I think It's a Small World, I think.
I think General Electric was Carousel of Progress, wasn't it?
Yes. And Ford, I believe, was Autopia, or as we know it, the Tomorrowland Speedway.
Yeah, it was basically Ford vehicles that you would ride in a kind of a track, and I don't remember. That's the one I remember the least about.
Yeah. Of course, this happened 3 years before you were born.
Yes, and
I
even
was one.
and even
Yeah.
before my sister was born. So this is a long time ago.
Long time ago.
You're right.
Long. Well, 60 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. 60 years ago. Gosh, Brenda is on top of it today. I'm like, yeah, it was a long time ago, and I didn't even do the math.
Because I'm there.
All right. Well, great history, Sophie. That was awesome history, actually. Really,
Thank
really
you.
good.
Excellent. I love looking back at what Walt did. I love him.
Oh, he was so genius.
Yes.
Okay. This is probably going to be so easy.
Okay.
So we'll see. This character is the newest member of a very well-known family.
The newest member of a very well-known family?
Uh-huh. This character is very good at throwing food, jabbering, and being super cute?
Jack.
Yep.
That's right, Jack Jack.
Yay!
Oh, I
And
love
what
it.
is his
Jack
last
Jack.
name? What's his last name?
Par.
Yep. Is it 1 R or 2?
2.
Okay. Then you got 3 for 3. You want to go for a fourth one?
Sure, try me.
Okay. Did you know that he can turn himself into a gooey form?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to give up. Jack Jack Parr. And Jack Jack is hyphenated.
Oh,
That
well, there
is
you go. You get
excellent,
one.
Sophie.
Yeah. And this
Always.
this is awesome. Always.
Always.
Did you know that
No.
the kids in The Incredibles, their names are actually almost puns of their superpowers, if you will. They're plays on words. You have Violet, who is the oldest,
Mhm.
and she can turn herself invisible, and also her force fields are of a violet color. She controls ultraviolet light.
Cool.
And then you have Dashin Par, the
Dash. Yep.
oldest boy, who can run really, really fast. They call him Dash. And then you have Jack Jack, who has a whole variety of powers. I think like 17 or so. He's the jack of all trades.
That's
Nice.
right. And at first they didn't know he had any power, remember?
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
awesome. Yay!
Well, Brenda, close us out with a little bit of Walt.
All right. A vista into a world of wondrous ideas signifying man's achievements. A step into the future with predictions of constructive things to come. Tomorrow offers new frontiers in science, adventure, and ideals. The atomic age, the challenge of outer space, and the hope for a peaceful and unified world. And he was talking about Tomorrowland at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well done.
We love you,
Great
Walt.
quote. Thank you, Brenda. And thank you, Walt.
Honestly, why does it feel like the history, the character, and the quote, they all seem to fall into some similar sort of bubble of theming, so to speak?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was reading it, I was thinking it was about Epcot, but it couldn't be about Epcot. And then, but
Well,
it goes with it.
It
know,
does
like-
go with Epcot.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
we ought to remember what Epcot stands for. The
Experimental
Experimental
Prototype
Prototype City
Community
of
of
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Right,
So
community.
it would have fit
Community,
right in there.
city.
Community.
Community.
Yeah. Community, city, same thing.
Nice.
All right. Great quote. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
And that, my friends, that wraps us up. It is done. Our March Madness is concluded, and now it's back to your regular scheduled programming. Before we started it, we had our favorite table service restaurants outside of the parks, and Brenda had the awesome idea of saying, look, we can't be shortchanging the quick service. We got to talk about them. So next week, we are going to talk about our favorite quick service restaurants outside of the parks. So we're going to be looking at, what do you want to say, ladies? 5? Just your
I think
favorites?
so.
And
Sure.
maybe you just say what your favorite 5 are and what the top billing is for that restaurant. You know, what is it that you like to get there, kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I
All
like
right.
that because there are so many more quick service restaurants outside the park than there are table service.
Mhm.
Good
And
one.
so until next week, remember to share a smile. If you see someone who's having a hard day, give them a smile, and maybe you'll turn their day right around. And hopefully you are having a great week, and we hope that you enjoyed our podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, I'm Mike. She's Sophie. That's Brenda. And he's Grogu.
May the
And-
force be with you.
Yes, right. And we will
See you on the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.